Right, Phillips family. It's time for your mid-month update on Maggie, Chocolate Tornado. I'm trying hard to stick to every other week schedule. Make sure we're keeping you guys updated on how your girl's doing. Um, talk about plans and keep you informed of how she's doing. In short, Maggie is everything that I would expect her to be at this point. We have just crossed the 6 month threshold. She was born mid September. If I remember correctly, it was the 12th of September. So we've just passed 6 months. So we've gotten to the point now where, at this stage, what we usually look for is we look for a 6 month old puppy that's a wild Indian. That's the best way to describe where they are. And Maggie's a wild Indian. That's a pretty good word for her. She's just absolutely crazy about retrieving. She loves birds. She's had a lot of socializing. Really, she's exactly where I want her to be at this point. In terms of her development, with her training and her socializing is what I want to see. Also, physically, I think we're right on track. She must have just finished this week dropping her last puppy canine. She's all out of puppy teeth. She's got big girl teeth growing in. She may have a little bit of finishing left to do on finishing them out, but her teeth are effectively done as well. So this means we can really kind of turn the page to a new phase of her training. And for lack of a better word, these next several videos are going to be kind of dry. They're not going to be very interesting, and they're not going to be sexy to watch. The next couple months here are really about building the foundation. The nuts and bolts of what makes a quality gun dog. And so that's going to be what we call formal obedience and force fetch. And so, from now, until, say Memorial Day or so, probably ish, it's going to be not all that interesting. There'll be some, fun work, but the videos for her progress, the main thing right now, this is the time when we build that force fetch foundation, and build that formal piece that makes a quality gun dog. So I'm just going to show you the basics of how we get started on this. I know you guys, have been enjoying the videos, and I'm glad to send those along. Happy to do those. So you can kind of see this would be a good reference of where is she? What does she know? Because a couple of months from now, we're not even going to recognize her. Right now she's wandering around the shop. Jumping all over me, being a crazy puppy. In a couple of months, she's going to be a really nice looking gun dog. And she also, of course, has got quite a bit more growing to do physically. She'll get bigger. She's not going to be huge. Like we said, I think we kind of talked about. She's going to be in that 60-pound range when we're all done. But I like where we are with Maggie. I think everything is on track, and we kind of have a target, of what we're shooting at. So I want to try hard to stick to that schedule and you know um, do everything I can to try to get Maggie to that level we were talking about. So what I'm going to do in here is I'm just going to slide the slip lead over her, to get started here to help, work with her a little bit. And she's been doing, puppy obedience leash work for, gosh, 6 weeks probably. She does it some with me, some with my kids. I'm a big believer in I don't want my dogs to only respond to a man. Dogs are sensitive that way. A lot of times they'll if I'm the only one that works with them, it's not always a great transition into the home because she doesn't mind as well for kids, anybody else in the house. It's better if we have some variety. But anyway, Maggie understands the leash, and you can see she immediately quits wandering around. She comes here and sits in front of me. We've got some pieces. We've introduced this. This is obviously not the first time she's had her leash on. We've been doing this for quite a while. But now we're going to go ahead and start making it more formal. And what I mean by that is we're going to start working off of this black rubber mat. And I'm a big fan of using this mat because it helps the dog understand that there's a spot somewhere. There's a spot where they're supposed to be. And for now, that spot is going to be right here beside me. So that's good because we need her to understand there is somewhere she is supposed to be. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of pressure right here. Sit. Good sit. Good girl. Good. And once we are doing this level of training, there's the formal obedience. The biggest thing that I can say is the difference here is I'm no longer asking her to do anything. There's no more requests. These are commands. And so that is the biggest philosophical change. And so with that comes the fact that I will not repeat a command. I will give the command and she will have to do it. If she doesn't do it on her own, I will have to make her do it. So that will be part of what we're doing here. So when I had her sit right there, I physically pushed her down so that I could say the sit command. Goofball. Okay, come on. Good. Good girl. Maggie, here. Heel. Sit. Good. Good girl. And that little move we do right here, heel, sit, ends up being the first building block, piece number one of what we're going to teach here. Good girl. Maggie, here, heel, sit. Good girl. Good. Good. You also notice at this point we've phased out using food. Maggie is super motivated by food. But at this point we want to transition into praise, and reward through verbal praise. And she seems to be fine with it. She understands food is usually associated with her crate and bedtime. So we're doing good there. But praise seems to be working just fine. So I'm happy with that. So this little move, good, good girl. Maggie, here, heel, sit. Good dog. Good, good. The other thing that I'm going to do here is, and I'll try to wrap this video up, is I'm going to come down here to her level. I'm going to kneel down here beside her, and I'm messing with her face. Not anything, mean, not anything difficult, but getting down on her level and putting my hands on her face. Because we're going to start force fetch. Force fetch is where we're going to, really throw the dog a new concept. The idea that I'm not only going to control how she moves, we're going to control her feet, but I'm also going to control her mouth. And so it's important that the dog, we don't want the first time that I start doing this to just be, going in there and applying pressure and making it unpleasant. We want the dog to have experienced this and have it be a positive thing. So, we're doing this kind of playfully, letting her, spend time with me. She is a sweet, lovey dog. She's affectionate. She's in tune with me. Some dogs are a little more distant. She's definitely pretty in tune. So we want to be able to play with her mouth here. And so she needs to be able to feel that. And she also needs to know that we're going to go back to here, heel, sit. Good girl. Good. And then that's it. All done. Good girl. So I'm happy with where Maggie is. We're going to start adding on to this formal obedience, starting to control her mouth, doing hold conditioning, force fetching, e-collar conditioning, all that stuff. All the big pieces really start coming into play next. So stay tuned. You'll see more soon.